Hi everyone, it's Honeybee Henderson. Welcome to Wake Up Wednesdays. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about death and dying and cycles ending. So it's funny because I didn't know what I wanted to share today, and partly I was going to talk about gratitude and how you can shift your energy just in being in gratitude, but as Spirit often does, she reminded me of the significance and the beauty of death. And as we are moving into this new year, wanted to talk a little bit about just the beauty of endings, the beauty of life, how it gives us these cycles, beginning, a middle, and an end in everything. In Sanskrit, in the Vedas, they call it, they work with Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. The creator, Brahma, Vishnu, the sustainer, and Shiva, the destroyer. And there is great beauty that comes through the process of destruction, through the process of death. So welcome everyone to my death talk, which is a funny thing to be so excited about, but I get so lit up with the process of death. I have been honored, really honored to get to witness two very special people in my life go through the process of death, and both very different experiences. So when we go through a big change, there can be a lot of pain and suffering involved. Even the end of a cycle, the end of this 2016, I'm seeing a lot of people on social media being like, fuck you, 2016. And it's a 9-year, it's an end year cycle. So we were expected a lot of change, a lot of destruction, a lot of leveling things out so that we could again renew ourselves and be born again in a new way. So it's like, how are you choosing to be with the death of this year? How are you choosing to be with the death of your own habits and patterns? How are you choosing to be with yourself as you complete this 9-year cycle? 2017, we begin again with a 1 year. Numerologically, it's a cycle of a 1. We have a new moon coming tomorrow on Thursday. The new moon in Capricorn, and Capricorn energy is all about planning. They're the fortifiers that get up, the goat that gets to the top of the mountain. But they really love to plan. That's one of the things I love about the earth energy of the Capricorn. So tomorrow is a new moon. Tomorrow is a chance to plant seeds for your next lunar cycle, for this upcoming new year. So a lot of people are talking about vision boarding and this and that, and that's a really significant and important thing to focus on right now. But getting back to death. So some of us are called into this life as doulas or midwives to bring life in, and some of us are called to be midwives to help people exit the planet. These are all already planned out by our souls. So all of these people that are jumping these planes, it's been a plan in their soul for a long time. A lot of people are really sad that we are having all these celebrity deaths. They're the lucky ones, to be honest. In the spirit realms, they believe that this earth is a living hell because it's duality. And in the spirit realms, there is only one. So they get to go back into the one to support in a new way and in a different way. And that's what's exciting for me about death, about the process of death, is that we get to begin again with brand new territory, with brand new experiences, with oneness, if we choose. Personally, I'm going through an interesting place because, as I've shared, I'm in a process of waiting right now, waiting to see what's coming up, and it's a big change for me. I don't have the details yet, and so I'm standing by. And I'm feeling a lot of loss and a lot of grief. But there is beauty in grief if you allow yourself to feel it. So one of my mentors that I was really grateful to get to support her in her process to the other side, Peggy Berlin, she came to me after she died, shortly after she died, and I was grieving, and the pain was so deep and so extraordinary. And from the ethers, she told me, let the pain break you open. The pain will set you free. And it hasn't left me, because her process of letting go of her body, right? Imaginably, the biggest thing that we can go through, going through this process, she did it with such grace. It didn't mean that the fear wasn't there, the fear of the unknown. It didn't mean that she was happy and joyful all the time. She allowed herself to have these emotions, and in her moments of just being, I'm so touched. In the moments after she passed, giving that wisdom to me was invaluable. And it's been something that I have held on to and since then, and share with everybody. Everything has a cycle, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Wow. I didn't realize I was going to get so moved. It's not sad, it's just life. This is the beauty, pain of death. It's so beautiful, it's magnificent, and it's how we choose to hold it, which gives it meaning. Essentially, all of these things that are happening are just happening. They have no meaning until we put meaning to them. So for me, I choose to look at death as an experience of the mystic, the mystical ways of life, of the unknown, of really meeting myself, meeting these experiences in this way of just like, okay, here's death. In my family, we're blessed with a lot of elders that died early on. In my childhood, there was always a funeral, this aunt or that uncle or this one, and I never really understood it. And my family was very protective. My mother's mother passed when she was just 6 years old, and they didn't tell her that she died until after the funeral. So in the West, we have this fear of death. And in the East, we actually honor death in a very significant way. So I wanted to just offer all of this to all of us who are going through our own process of death and our own cycles, because everything does change. A beginning, a middle, and an end. And then we start again. So whatever process, whatever part of the process you're in, allow it to just meet it where you meet it. Meet it in every... Oh, I like that. My earrings are making noise. Meet it. Meet it in every aspect. Death is imminent with all things. And yeah, be scared. That's fine. That's normal. Feel your feelings. This is not something that we need to pretend that it's amazing. But it can be if we allow ourselves to just simply experience it without putting meaning to it. I know that when the pain comes of a big change and the fear comes in, the breath is our greatest ally. The breath will help us to move the energy as it comes in and as it moves and transmutes. So I want to offer just I'm going to be sharing with you all a meditation to help us to prepare for this process of death of 2016, and so that we can be prepared for the new moon tomorrow. Again, the new moon is in Capricorn, and it's always a good time to write down and set intentions for what you are intending to create, what you want to bring in. So if you will, and if you're available, let's close our eyes and just take in a big inhale together and let it out. And I feel grief as an ally right now, grief as a sidekick, grief as a great teacher. So I want to acknowledge the grieving process, and to all of us who are going through our own forms and variations of grief, the grief of the unknown and the grief of losing loved ones, the grief of a plan that is not being executed. Just acknowledging and honoring the presence of loss and the beauty of feeling the pain that comes with loss. We are alive, and we are so grateful, Spirit, for allowing us to have this rainbow of experiences, these feelings that range from highs to lows. We're so grateful for the experience of death and rebirth. And so grateful for those who have walked the path before us, and those of us who have chosen to leave the planet for reasons that we will never understand, at young ages, at old ages, from before they even were able to come onto the earth. These souls come to teach us and to share with us their gifts and their medicine, and may we honor each of those who are sharing in that beautiful process of life with us. Just going to take a breath again, in through the nose, and with a imagining a sacred fire that we're all sitting around, this beautiful sacred fire, and offering into the fire any old patterns that we are ready to release, any old ways of being that are no longer serving us, anything that is asking to die, asking for us to have the courage to meet death with honesty, with vulnerability, with difficult conversations. Sending my prayers out to all of my brothers and sisters that are experiencing death firsthand, with mothers, with fathers, brothers and sisters. For those of us that don't know how to walk through this sacred fire with those who are ready to leave the planet, we're asking for extra fortification of our soul. We are asking for extra support from our ancestors. We are asking for the courage to move through these processes and remember that everything has a cycle. Honoring the new, honoring the middle, and honoring the end in a very sacred way. Giving gratitude to all the teachers on the planet and all of the elementals. They keep showing up in the meditations. I love that. For their life, for their sustainability, and for their death. For reminding us that it's all the perception that we put onto it that gives it meaning. May we all have courage to open our eyes and to see with the eyes of the divine this beautiful and bountiful process of ending. And I know that as I share with you today, that I'm sharing for myself, great endings are happening. And it's beautiful to feel it all, because the next breath, it begins again. So with that, my loves, thank you for joining. Funny topic today, but I really love death. I love the process of it. I love everything about it. I love how people are afraid to talk about it. I'm grateful for the people who are willing to have difficult conversations. My dear sister Laurel Lewis has she's been doing these death and dying dinner parties for I think 5 years now, every month. She's had 72 of them, or 79, or something amazing. And she gets people to sit around and talk about death. So for all of those people like my mom, who didn't have the ability to speak about the death of her own mother, people are now coming up and talking about it. So I just encourage us all to have the difficult conversations. Let the people you love know everything that's on your heart if you're faced with this situation, whether it's you in that experience or the fear of someone you love leaving. Even allow yourself to share about the death of this cycle. It's a beautiful process. It's a time to be vulnerable. It's a time to remember that the breath comes again. Maybe not in this body, in this physical form, but into the mystery we bloom. So with that, my loves, I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful new moon, a really great new year, making time to honor the this calendar where we celebrate the new and honoring the cycles of life from start to finish. Much love, and we'll see you all soon. May peace be still.